Masana Mantrasya Chandu Kurmo Devatashanu Pavanashini Vinyogaha. Did you wipe down all the mics? Welcome to ISKCON of Silicon Valley. Thanks everyone for tuning in to our broadcast today. And for those of you who've joined us in the temple, thank you for joining. Hare Krishna. Jai. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janna Ballabha Girivaradhari Gopi Janna Ballabha Girivaradhari Jashodanandana Vraja Janadandana Jashodanandana Vraja Janadandana Jashodanandana Vraja Janadandana Jashodanandana Vraja Janarandana Jamunatira Banachari Jamunatira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janadandana Yashodanandana Vraja Janadandana Yashodanandana Vraja Janadandana Jashodanandana Vraja Janarandana Junatira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Privrajagacharya Stotra Shishimada Pai Charanada Vindabhaktivedanta Sai Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Privrajagacharya Stotra Shishimada Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavini Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrindi Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopina Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Ki Jai Shri Mayapur Navadip Dham Ki Jai Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Jamuna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. Gaura Premanande Haribo. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Dena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Sadvatutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhya evacha patitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead who has appeared in the material world to fulfill his purposes. Of course, in the Bhagavad Gita, we already know some of the purposes of the Lord. You want to move a little, you're practically half my audience. And if you can sit closer so I can see you, I'll feel satisfied. Thank you. In the Gita, Krishna mentions Yada yada hi dharmasya glanhir bhavati bharata abhutanam adharmasya tadatmanam srujamyaham. That he advents himself millennium after millennium in order to help the devotees fulfill their desires for pure devotional service, and also to cut down the unwanted elements in society who try to slow down those who are performing devotional service and who create an unfavorable atmosphere in the world. Is that do you all have this similar understanding from Krishna's presentation in the Bhagavad Gita? Yeah? And similarly, he mentions how beneficial it is to know about his advent in the world when he says, Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tatvata tekvadeham punarjanma naiti mam eti sorjuna. That if somebody knows the divine nature of his birth, his appearance in the world, and his activities, his lila, then such a person, just by knowing these things, doesn't have to take birth again in the material world. So the Supreme Personality of God, it appears, and then his devotees who are empowered by him give extensive explanation about the nature of his birth and activities in the world. So we have the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, and this book is written by whom? Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. He wrote it in his old age, near the end of his life. He mentions, even as he's writing this, that his hands are shaking, he can barely see, barely walk, and he doesn't know how many hours he has left in the world, but still he's writing these beautiful verses about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he had source material he got from the Kavachas, or the diaries of Swarup Damodar, and pardon me? Yeah, Murari Gupta and Ramananda Roy. And from these, he gave the essence of the pastimes of the Lord. Vrindavan Das Thakur from Mamgachi had written more extensively about the early parts of the Lord's life, his Adi Lila. And Kaviraj Goswami then summarizes and tries not to go into too much detail about the early part of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, but then gives more explanation of the later pastimes. So the two books actually complement one another, the Chaitanya Bhagavat and the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Kaviraj Goswami, the author, has started with 14 verses, which become the basis. They're called the Mangalacharna of this book, creating auspiciousness. And they also give the basis for everything else that he's going to speak about throughout the book. And you'll find that he, of course, begins with offering his obeisances, because this is what the Mangalacharna is meant to do first. One has to give one's obeisances.
Sorry, Krishna, it's become very faint.
It's become very faint. You're not saying you're becoming very faint, you're saying that the voices are faint. Is that correct? Could you fix the voice? Can you hear it now, Rupa Manjari?
Prabhu's voice is very faint. It suddenly became faint about a minute ago.
It became faint about 1 minute ago, if that gives you any information to go on. Ramananda Sakat is processing it. It looks like somebody's trying to work on it. Is there anything we can do, or is it? Call the police. Okay. Sorry. Okay. If you have, if you need tech support, what's a number they can check into so they can text you? They can call. You can call Ramananda Sakhar directly. He'll be in the booth at 925-216-0587. Okay. Can you type it on the screen too, or something like that for the audience? So Kaviraj Goswami then begins by offering his obeisances. Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan, Ishan Isham Vatarakan, Tat Prakashams Tachach Shakti, Krishna Chaitanya Samjakam. So here he first offers his obeisances to the gurus. And he says gurun, which means gurus plural. So what are the three kinds of gurus that he mentions in the first chapter? There's three categories of gurus, three main categories of gurus that he mentions.
There's the Shiksha Guru and the Diksha Guru.
That's right, that's two categories. And what is that elusive third category?
The Vartma Pradakshina Guru.
What does Vartma mean?
Somebody
The
who's
pointing guru?
Vartma means the path. Pradakshaka means somebody who shines light on the path. So the Vartmana Pradakshaka Guru is the one who first shows you the path of devotional service. And in the first chapter of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Kaviraj Goswami offers his obeisances, or rather he quotes a Bilvamangal Thakur offering his obeisances to his guru named Chintamani, who was his girlfriend. And his girlfriend told him one day, "You take so much trouble to come over and see me, but if you took this much trouble to try to see Krishna, then you'd be a pure devotee." And so he took those words to heart and he became fully dedicated in his process of devotional service. So he gives his obeisances there. And then the Shiksha and Diksha gurus he also honors. And he says some of the gurus, they come directly from the spiritual world as eternally liberated souls, and others are sadhakas. They're practicing devotional service in this world. They're on their way up, and they're liberated by dint of following their guru parampara and their gurus. So then, Kaviraj Goswami, what does he say next? Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanandao Sahodito Godudai Pushpavanto Chitro Shando Tamonudao. This is the second verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And here in a very poetical and beautiful sounding verse, because it has a lot of plurals in it, ow, ow, ow. It's giving the dual tense in the language, ow. So he's saying that he's offering his obeisances to Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who have appeared where? On the horizon of Gauda. And what does he compare it to? Sun and moon. So imagine one day you see an especially bright light coming up in the morning, and you look and you see the sun and the moon are rising simultaneously. And so the sun normally gives light to mundane objects like pots and plates and in this world. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda, their light lights up the soul inside, so one can see oneself and one's real purpose in life. And then he begins to describe, doesn't he, the nature of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we have in the early discussion at Naimisharanya, a description of the nature of the Absolute Truth in the chapter called Divinity and Divine Service. We find that the Absolute Truth is one. There's nothing but the Absolute Truth. This is called Advaya Gyan Tattva, the truth that there's only one thing, and that's God. But there are varieties within the complete whole. What literature would you refer to from antiquity that describes the complete whole? Why don't you use the mic? As long as they're sterilized, you can use them. Just don't touch them to your mouth, and make sure you wipe your hands afterwards.
The Ishapanishad.
The whole country's whole world is on quarantine right now. Okay, go ahead. Is that a question or an answer?
Ishapanishad.
Thank you. And what is the verse that you'd like to submit today for evidence that describes the nature of the absolute whole?
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate.
So what are some of the characteristics of the absolute that are being described here? What's the main point of this verse, would you say, according to the word that's mostly repeated in this verse?
Anything that is comes as a result of the absolute truth is complete and whole in itself.
Yeah, and what's the word that means complete or whole?
Purna.
Purnam, yeah. So the Supreme Absolute Truth is a complete whole, and as you were just pointing out, Bharat, even though there are units emanating from the complete whole remains the complete balance, and it says He remains the complete balance. So it's a person. The Supreme Absolute Truth is actually a person, right? Where is that stated?
Hiranmayena patrena satyasya pihitam mukam tattvam pushana pavrenu satya dharmaya dhrishtaye.
Where's that from?
Ishopanishad verse 15.
And what does it say?
It said,
And how does it prove that the Supreme Absolute's a person?
"O Lord, please remove the dazzling effulgence covering your face." So it proves that Krishna has a form because he has a face.
Very good. And so what's another literature that says the Supreme Absolute Truth is a person? He's the Supreme Controller, and he's also a Purusha, or a person. Call a friend. Go ahead.
Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. So this is from Brahma Samhita,
Yeah.
the opening verse. Ishvara Parama Krishna, the Supreme Lord, He's Satchidananda. He's always blissful, eternal, and Satchidananda. And Satchidananda.
Vigraha means form.
Yeah, and Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha.
So he's the controller, right?
Yeah. Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. He's the cause of all causes.
Yeah.
Okay, where did it say he's a Purusha?
What's his name? What's the name of the Absolute Truth? Govinda.
Govinda.
Yeah. And Bharat, you were going to say?
That the word Vigraha indicates that he has a form.
There you go. There's evidence in the Shastra that the Supreme Absolute Truth is a person. So now we find that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is being described, and there's the sages hear from Sutta Goswami some very specific information. First of all, the Sutta Goswami lists all of the avatars that come into this world. Who are some of the avatars who appear in the world? Name a few. Yeah. You said Kurma, Matsya, Varaha. This is Parashuram, Buddha, Nrsimhadev, and so forth. And then Krishna is named as the avatari, or the source of all the avatars. And this becomes a very, very important verse for understanding the nature of the Absolute Truth. Thank you. What is the verse that specifically is the center point for the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy describing that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Go ahead.
It's 1328.
1328, for those who are keeping score at home, yes.
I hope so. It's 1328. But Ete chamsa kala pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Mridayanti Yuge Yuge.
Okay, let's see the translation to that. All of the above mentioned incarnations are either plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of the Lord. But Lord Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. All of them appear on planets whenever there is a disturbance created by the atheists. The Lord incarnates to protect the theists. Rupa Manjari, can you hear us now?
I jammed it all the way up. I'm fine. Thank you.
You're fine. Good. Okay. You're welcome. And also, for tonight's class, since most of you are out there on the other side, if you have questions, comments, reflections, anything that you'd like to make during this presentation, feel free to text in, or you can do what Rupa Manjari is doing and call into the number where you can speak up directly into the class so we can hear from you also. Feel free to interrupt at any time. So now we have this establishment of the nature of the absolute truth, Satchidananda, that he's the Ishvara and the cause of all causes, and that he's a person. And now, who is that person? It's mentioned here in the Srimad Bhagavatam that that person is Krishna. And he is the source of all the other incarnations that appear in this world. He's not an incarnation, but he's the source of all the incarnations. So there are the avatars. What does avatara mean? Yeah?
Incarnation. So avatar means one who descends.
Yeah, it comes from above down and descends to present himself so that we can see him. And then what's the avatari? That's right. So there's the avatars, and the avatari is Krishna. He's the source of all other manifestations of the Supreme Lord. He's the original source of everything and all beings. Who's the first being that manifests from Krishna? What's the first of it? What is the first manifestation of Krishna? First expansion, we say. You all agree? Final answer?
Balaram?
Okay.
Balaram?
Balaram. So Balaram. So now, Kaviraj Goswami will point out soon that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna and that Lord Nityananda is Balaram. So it's the same Krishna, but he's appearing in a slightly different form. But back to the next verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Kaviraj Goswami begins to describe the different aspects of the absolute truth and how, just as in the Bhagavatam, these are all the energies of the Lord and the manifestations of the Lord. Where in the Bhagavatam does it say that although the Lord is Advaya Gyan Tattva, is one truth, one whole, that he has and is considered to be in three divisions? Where is that verse? I'll give you a hint. It's in Divinity and Divine Service. I'll give you another hint. It's verse number 11.
Vadanti tattva vidas tattvam jnanadarshina.
Advayam.
Oh.
Go ahead, you got it.
Brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdyate.
That's correct. Vadanti tattva vidas tattvam yaj jnanam advayam. Brahmeti means paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdate. So he names three aspects of the absolute truth. And those are the Brahman effulgence, then the Paramatma, the super soul within everyone's heart, and finally, Bhagavan. So Bhagavan. Now we see here a parallel verse from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is verse number 3, where Kaviraj Goswami, who has penned this verse, says, Yada dvaitam brahmopanishadi tadapyasya tanuba ya atmantaryami purusha iti so shamsha vibhavaha shad aishvaryai purno ya iha bhagavan saswayamayam na chaitanyat krishnash jagati paratatvam paramiha. So this verse, let's look at the translation, says, what the Upanishads describe as the impersonal Brahman is but the effulgence of his body, and the Lord known as the Super Soul is but his localized plenary portion. Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, full with 6 opulences. He is the absolute truth, and no other truth is greater than or equal to him. So you'll see the parallel here. Now, when Prabhupada first commissioned an artwork about the parallel nature of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Krishna in his pastimes, you'll see that the canvas is divided into two parts. In one part you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with his associates dancing in kirtan. And in the other you'll see Lord Krishna dancing with his associates in the Rasa Leela. And so we'll find this parallel throughout the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and especially in the beginning, because Kaviraj Goswami is establishing Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead is already established from the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the Amala Purana. It's the spotless Purana, or the source of evidence, which is also described as the fruit of all the Vedic literature. In other words, what everyone's looking for throughout all the Vedic literatures is they're presented to you in the form of a fruit when you come to the Bhagavatam. Now the Chaitanya Charitamrita is showing how that same Lord Krishna advented himself as Lord Chaitanya. Now we want to know, why did he come as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Why did Krishna come as Lord Chaitanya? I would like you to tell me why he came. And move that down so we can't see number 4, please. No, I said move it down so we can't see number 4, okay? Now somebody tell me what Kaviraj Goswami says next to describe he gives in this next verse Krishna's thought process of why he decided to come as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You do the first 2 lines and you do the second 2. Or vice versa.
Anarpita Charim
Yes.
Karunaya Vatirna Kalo Svayodyen Samarpayitum Unato Jvala Rasam Svabhakti Shriyam.
Now you do the last part. Help him out though. Hari Purata
Hari
Sundara Duti Kadamba Sandipitaha Sada Hridaya Kundare Spuratu Vasachinandana. That was a statement. Better check that out. Pujari's there, okay. So let's talk about what this means. This is very important because Kaviraj Goswami is describing here what Krishna was thinking before he came as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Tell us what he was thinking. What was he thinking?
When you asked the first question, I thought that why he appeared, I thought that he appeared for me, because there are so much fallen souls, those who are like in Kali Yuga has been left.
Okay, good start.
From
Keep going.
From all the 3 yugas, they could not get the opportunity to Satya Yuga and the Treta Yuga and Dwapara Yuga to go back, but he came especially to reclaim the most fallen souls and those who could not go back to the spiritual world. So he is...
That's true, but tell me what he's thinking. Yeah, that's very much in tune with this verse. Tell me, what's the thought process that he's describing in this verse? What does Anarpata Charim Chirat Karunaviyatirna Kalau mean? Just tell any of the words that you know in this.
Karunaya means out of compassion.
Yes. That's good.
So
that's important.
So I think in the summary, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes here to offer which no incarnation has ever offered before.
So which of the words says that? You can show the word for word a little more. Just move that text number 4 up to the top of the screen. Okay.
So not
Anarpita Charim means what? Charim means having been formerly, and then Chirat means for a long time, and Anarpita, not bestowed. So we have here Anarpita Charim Chirat, for a long time. This is Krishna thinking, and he's saying, for a long time, I haven't given what?
the Ujjvala
Karunya
Rasam.
causes mercy. Avatirna Kalau. So for a long time, I haven't given my special mercy. Now he says this. Samarpayitum means to bestow. Unnata means elevated. Ujjvala rasam, the conjugal mellow. Swabhakti, of his own service, Shriyam, the treasure. So he said, I haven't given this treasure. At some places for a long time, and other places maybe I've never given this. So he's thinking about it. After Krishna appeared in the world, he performed his pastimes, and then he spoke the Bhagavad Gita. At the end of the Bhagavad Gita, he said, Sarvadharman parityaja, mamekam sharanam vraja, ahanton sarvapapi bhyo mokshayishami ma sucha, surrender unto me, I'll deliver you. But who did it? Not very many people. So that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was thinking, well, I offered my mercy, but who followed it? So now he wants to come and give special mercy. So now he's thinking, for a long time I haven't distributed, but it's something very special that he's talking about that he hasn't given. And that is the special treasure of the Unnata Ujjvala Rasam. Who's Ujjvala Rasa? Who's Ujjvala Rasa Dasi? The best cook in ISV? Okay, so what is the Ujjvala Ras? What does Ujjvala Ras mean? Yeah, we're talking here, about a relationship Krishna has in the spiritual world with whom? With whom?
Radharani.
Yeah. With Srimati Radharani, especially, that's the pinnacle of the Ujjvala Ras. And what kind of relationship is it? How would you describe it in your own words?
Conjugal love.
Yeah? And do you see that very often in South India?
No.
What kind of mood do you see in temples in South India when people go to worship the deity?
It's like awe and reverence.
Like this?
Reverence.
Yeah, awe and reverence. There's a different mood in Krishna's own planet called Goloka. Where is it said in the Shastra that Krishna has his own planet named Goloka? Okay, tell us the verse.
43. Golokanamni nijadhamni.
Text number 43 of the Brahma Samhita.
Golokanamni nijadhamni talecha tasya devi mahesa haridhama sutesu tesu te te prabhavani chaya vihitascha yena govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami.
Which two words in that verse mean that it's his personal abode? That's like his...
Nijadham.
Oh, he gave it away, Nijadam. Where else do you hear the word Nija in a verse that we say all the time? Huh? Very good. Give her the mic. She's got it. Very good, Hansapriya.
That's all I know, sir.
Okay, the verse is Nam Nam Akarhi Bahuda Nija Sarva Shakti. So Nija means personal. So this is indication Krishna has a special place. It's called his Nijadam. Who's Nijadam? A famous book distributor who lives in Irvine. Okay, Nijadam. Yes, and where is Krishna's Nijadam, according to the Chaitanya Charitamrita and the teachings of Lord Chaitanya? Where is Krishna's Nijadam? It's called what? Goloka. What does Goloka mean?
A lot of
What does the Goloka mean? A lot of goats? It's a planet of cows? A lot of cows up there? That's right. And so where is it situated? Like, where are we in comparison to the... Okay, go ahead. Radhakripa Prabhu, we got to get him the mic back there. He's got gloves on so he can hold it. Just don't touch your face.
So it's on the topmost planet.
Topmost planet, where?
I mean...
In the material world?
No, not in the spiritual world.
And where are we?
We are in the middle.
Of?
In the material world.
We're in the material world, not the spiritual world?
No.
Darn. Okay, so we're right in the middle of the material world, right? What's our abode? What area are we situated in? What neighborhood did we end up in here? What's it called? What's it called? Devidam, right? Goloka namni nijadamni chaleta tasya Devi Mahesha, and above our neighborhood, who's in the next category? Maheshdam, abode of? Mahesh. And above Mahesh Dham is? No, not quite. Above Mahesh Dham is Hari Dham. Who's Hari? Yeah, Lord Narayan lives there. And what do you say when you see Lord Narayan? When you meet Lord Narayan, what do you say? Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha Sahasraksha Sahasrapata Sabhuming Vishwato Vritvat Atitishtat Jashangulam. And when you go above Haridam, then where do you come to? Goloka, which is his Nijadam. And what do you say when you see Krishna there in Goloka Vrindavan? Do you say Sahasra Shirsha Purusha? Or what else? What would you say if you saw Krishna in his Nijadam? You go, hey Govinda! Hey Gopal! I'm over here! So in that Dham, you can go back to our verse, Anarpita charim chirat karuna yavatirna kalau samarpayitumunu tojwala rasam sabhakti shriyam hari purata sundara duti kadamba sandipita sadharaya kandare spurato vash shachinandana. Back to our verse. That's the third verse in the fourth verse. Yes. Where's Brahma? Good question. Brahma is at the top of this universe. And, well, yeah, it's the very top of Devi Dham. It doesn't seem like Devi Dham when you get that high, though. It actually almost... Could you put it back on our verse? Nobody's home. So, Brahma's abode is at the top of the material universe. And it's because it's so high in the material world, it almost seems like the spiritual world. It's hard to tell the difference. Although, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Aha Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punar Avartinorjuna Mamupetya Tukonteya Punar Janma Navidyate. And that is from the topmost planet, Brahmaloka, down to the lowest planet, which is called Patala. All are places of repeated birth and death. So he lives at the top of the universe. Okay, so now, back up to the Sanskrit a little bit, please. Unato Dwala Rasam Sabhakti Shriyam. A little higher. Okay, that's good. Down. Hari Purata Sundara means what? Yeah, it's Krishna appearing, his form of Hari, but what does he look like? More beautiful than gold. Okay, Purata Sundara, duty, his splendor, Kadamba, with a multitude, Sandipita, he lighted up, Sada, always. And Hridaya Kandare Spurato, this is a benediction he's giving, and this is one of the purposes of a Mangalacharana. You offer obeisances, you're also supposed to give a benediction. So this is a benediction verse. And it says, may he always be situated in the core of your heart and give you this illumination. And he's also, we can tell he's a personality, and we have a little more information about this personality when we hear Sachinandana, which means what? Yeah, he has a mother. God has a mother. So when he appears, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, he has a mother also, just like we do. So her name is Shachi. So let's see the translation in full. May the Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Shachi Devi, be transcendentally situated in the innermost chambers of your heart. Resplendent with the radiance of molten gold, he has appeared in the age of Kali by his own causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation has ever offered before, the most sublime and radiant mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. So this is a description of why he's coming to the material world. Is that the only reason he's coming? One person said no. Is this the only reason he's coming? Is to distribute this very special kind of knowledge about the relationship that he has in the topmost planet of the spiritual world called Goloka Vrindavan, and the highest of all intimate rasas. Is that the main reason that he came? It's not the only reason? There are other reasons? Yes. Okay. Where are they listed? Where are they listed, the other reasons why he came? Text 5, which is that one? But where is it in relation to this one? Is the next verse. Okay, let's look at text 5. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Ladini Shakti Rasmad Ikat Manav Api Bhuvi Pura Deha Bedham Gatau Tau Chaitanyakyam Prakadamaduna Tadvayam Chaikyam Aptam Radha Bhava Duty Suvalitam Naumi Krishna Swarupam. What does it mean? Generally, or any part of it, what does it mean? Yes, Bharat.
What it's trying to say is that one reason that Krishna came down as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is to experience like the love that Radha has for Krishna, for himself.
That's actually in the next verse.
Oh.
But this verse is describing a little bit more about who Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is ontologically. Look up the word ontological. Ontology. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Ladini Shaktir Asmad. What does Ladini Shakti mean? What kind of internal potency? Yes. Yes? Okay, go ahead.
Ontological means relating to the branch of metaphysics dealing with the nature of being. That was the first definition. And the second definition is showing the relations between the concepts and categories in a subject area.
Okay, so this verse, Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Ladini Shakti Rasmat Ekat Manav. What does Eka mean? Ekat Manav Api Bhuvi Pura Deha Bedham. What does Bedham mean? Yeah. Gatau Tau. Chaitanyakyam. Who's Chaitanya? Prakritam Aduna Tadvayam Chaikyamaptam Radha Bhava Duty Suvalitam. What does Radha Bhava duty mean? What is duty? Duty means the effulgence. So this is describing how, although Radha and Krishna are actually one, they've separated themselves eternally for the purpose of exchanging loving pastimes. However, now they've become one again. And what is that? Radha Krishna combined into one form. What would that form? Who is that form? I'll give you a hint. We're going to celebrate his appearance day on Monday. What is your final answer?
Gauranga.
Correct. So he's talking about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Radha and Krishna, this is a fact that Radha and Krishna are eternally two. And actually they're one, but they divide themselves eternally. They've divided themselves eternally so that they can have loving relationship. And now they've combined again into the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Let's look at the translation. The loving affairs of Sri Radha and Krishna are transcendental manifestations of the Lord's internal pleasure-giving potency. That's the Ladini Shakti. Although Radha and Krishna are one in their identity, previously they separated themselves. Now these two transcendental identities have again united in the form of... Say it 3 times, loud. Sri Krishna Chaitanya. And now he says, I bow down to him who has manifested himself with the sentiment and complexion, the duty, of Srimati Radharani, although he is Krishna himself. Mystery solved. That's who Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is. So Radha and Krishna are one, but they've separated themselves eternally. Now they've combined again into the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it's Radha and Krishna combined, so now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes with the color of Srimati Radharani. How do we know what the color of Srimati Radharani is? Where is that described? Okay, go ahead. Say it. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. So this is describing Srimati Radharani, right? And she has a golden complexion. Now this kind of solves the mystery of why Lord Chaitanya is golden, right? Because that's the color of Srimati Radharani. Where else does it say in the Shastra? If you lived in South India and every day you did your due diligence to chant the special stotram that you're supposed to chant if you live, like say in Kerala, every single day, what verse would you pull out of the Vishnu Sahasranam to describe the beautiful golden color of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? From the which first of all, tell me the stotram you'd be chanting every day if you were born in Kerala. Yeah, if you were born in Trivandrum, every morning you'd hear from the train station the Vishnu Sahasranam stotram, and within there you would also hear a verse about Lord Chaitanya, right? Suvarna varna he mango varnanga shanjanangadi sanyasya krishna shanto nishta shanti parayanaha. We'll learn that one later. So here it's describing that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to come as a beautiful golden sannyasi. Suvarna varna he mango sannyasya krishna, and he's going to be very peaceful, and this gives more evidence. There's lots of pramanam verses describing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But isn't this a fascinating verse about how Radha Krishna divided eternally? God is one, but why does he divide himself anyway? Yeah, because no fun just to be by yourself, right? Yeah, this is what the Vedas say. Eko bahu shyam. The Supreme Lord is one, but he's become many for what reason? For his own enjoyment. He manifests himself in unlimited with various potencies so that he can interact with those potencies. So one of them is Srimati Radharani, and the one has become many, but for his own pleasure, he interacts with his internal potency, the Hladini Shakti. That's what gives him ecstasy. And now they've combined together again Radha Krishna into one form, and that's called Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, now we'll take any comments or reflections from either the live studio audience or anybody online. Just so we know you're out there, you go ahead and ping us here or speak up. First we have Mukaravinda Prabhu.
Maharaj, I had this question, like you're telling that the verse 3rd or 4th that says like how the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give the conjugal mellow of Radha and Krishna, and then you were explaining that how in the South India people like those who are the worship with the awe and reverence the Lord Vishnu. But even we see in the South India there is sometime like they have the Kalyan of the Vishnu and the Lakshmi ji, and then there are so many festivals there where they joke around with. Even in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is mentioned when Jagannath Puri, when Lord Jagannath comes back from Sundarachal to Nilachal, and then there is a fight, not fight, like the servants of Lakshmi Devi doesn't want it enter to. So there is still they describe something about conjugal love, and so I'm not able to understand.
Well, if you take the pastime itself, which is Hera Panchami, there in Jagannath Puri, when Lakshmi ji goes to get her husband back because he took off on her. This is interesting. And he went out with his girlfriends. So like, where'd he go? With his girlfriend. So he went to get him back. She went to get him back and brought a bunch of, heavies with sticks and everything like that. And so what's that all about? Well, Lakshmi ji knows about Srimati Radharani and also about the pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan. That's why when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met with Venkatabhata in South India, in Sri Rangam, they had a long discussion. And part of that discussion was about how Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. See, in Vaikuntha, they say Narayan's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But in Goloka, of course, they don't call Krishna the Supreme Personality of Godhead because they don't even know he's God. They just know they love him. That's the mood there. And now, Venkatabhata in South India, Sri Rangam, he's worshiping in a certain way. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks him, so, if Narayan is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, why is it that Lakshmiji wanted to enter into the rasa dance? And why is it that she couldn't? That was her desire. She tried to enter into the rasa dance. But because she wasn't able to give up her abhiman, or her mood of being the goddess of fortune, and enter into the mood of the gopis and follow in their footsteps, Mahaprabhu quotes from the Bhagavatam, Nayam Sukhapo Bhagavan Dehinam Gopika Sutaha. And he says that this natural, friendly, spontaneous love is the love in Goloka Vrindavan that is most attractive to Krishna. So unless one follows the footsteps of the residents of Vrindavan, then one can't enter into that pastime or into that realm of Goloka Vrindavan. And that's partly what Lord Chaitanya came to teach. So we do find in Jagannath Puri, the goddess of fortune, she's trying to bring him back into Jagannath Puri. That's part of the pastime of Rath Yatra is at Kurukshetra. The residents of Vrindavan are there, and they want to take him back, Krishna back to Vrindavan, because they say, we don't like you here. We like you with Govardhan Hill and the Jamuna and all the residents of Vrindavan. The two of you can't separate the two. They can't be separated. So we want to take you back to Vrindavan. And although the residents of Vaikuntha, they know something about the Krishna's childhood pastimes and some of his other pastimes, they don't consider them to be the supreme. And they do have some fun things that they do, but it's a very different mood, ultimately. They take the deity out on an elephant, they put him on a boat and take him around and things like that. But ultimately, the mood of Vrindavan and the mood of separation and of intimacy that's there in Goloka Vrindavandam is the realm of those who follow in the footsteps of Srila Madhavendra Puri. Because he's the one who brought that seed first to the world, and then it was manifested in the heart of Srila Ishvara Puri, and then, of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted Ishvara Puri as his guru, and then here he's giving it to the whole world for free. Does that help?
And it helps me to understand, there is a different mood, definitely. That is also, but this is much more superior than the mood that is found, the conjugal mellows that they have. Still, they don't have access to the more and more pastimes and...
In Vaikuntha.
In Vaikuntha, yeah.
Yeah, it's the Dasya Ras is there, the mood of servitude. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to teach the rasas of Dasya and in friendship. And all these are described in their various forms in the Nectar of Devotion. You'll find that there are different kinds of friendship that the devotees have with Krishna in the spiritual world. And then, of course, there's parental affection. And then there's different manifestations of that also. For instance, Sri Balaram has a tinge of that because he's always trying to protect Krishna when they go out. One of the reasons he carries his plows, don't mess with my brother. And then you've got the mood of parental affection, as you see in Mother Yashoda and all the mothers of Vrindavan, and then you have parental from the side of Nanda Maharaj, and then you have the unceremonious love of the devotees, like the gopis, who love Krishna as a lover, and they sneak out with him and so forth. So these are very different from what's there in Vaikuntha.
So if I understand correctly, they are more in the platform of servitude, the dasya, but this goes to the highest level of madhurya.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true. And we see that we can see the difference even in Arjuna's friendship with Krishna. When in the Bhagavad Gita, we find that when Krishna shows him his universal form, Arjuna then becomes a little reticent and afraid. And he starts thinking, I violated the etiquette. I offended you. We sat on the same bed together. I called you, hey friend, hey, come over here. Besides, I told you to drive my chariot. Hey, drive me over there, And then it's like, but you're God. In the pastime of Mother Yashoda, when she opens her mouth to see if Krishna, she asked Krishna to open his mouth to see if he ate dirt, which there's a lot of contention about whether he actually did or not amongst the acharyas. But the fact is that ultimately the rumor got spread that Krishna ate dirt. So Mother Yashoda, I want to see. You open your mouth and show me. So then she looked in and she saw the whole universal form. And for a moment, she thought, well, that's pretty odd. He said, okay, close your mouth. That's okay. And then she did away with that. Or the potency for Krishna's pastimes, Yogamaya then covered her again. And every once in a while, the devotees in Goloka Vrindavan, they'll see the opulence of Krishna, but they disregard it. Because that mood of reverence, it separates them from their intimate, loving relationship with Krishna. And you can see also in this world, let's just say somebody runs for president and wins and comes home, the mother still says, you're just my kid, sit down, you got to eat, The mood is still there. Okay, so this is a very important verse, and it's describing who Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is, but we asked, are there other reasons why he came? And now we start to get deeper into the reasons why Krishna came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yes, and a question or a comment from the internet.
So first, I think when you ask the reason why Mahaprabhu came, so Shivasa had to, he gave two reasons. He came to give people Krishna Prem out of compassion for the fallen souls. And second, he writes that Krishna also wants to understand why Radharani loves him so much. So these two reasons he gives. And there's a question from Trilokini Sakhi Devi Dasi. She writes, Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my respectful obeisances. Her question is, one who does not accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead is certainly a demon. Similarly, anyone who does not accept Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Krishna, the same Supreme Lord, is also to be considered a demon. And this is from Adi Lila chapter 8, 9th verse. And then she asks, would you please explain this verse? What will happen with those devotees who are worshipping Radha Krishna but not Chaitanya Mahaprabhu?
What will happen with them? Well, first of all, it's very difficult to understand Radha and Krishna, the love of Radha and Krishna, without Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So what might happen is one might not have a full understanding of who they actually are. People do worship Radha and Krishna, but sometimes they don't understand actually who Radha and Krishna are. But the point that we're hearing here is that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. He's coming in as Acharya Leela, and he is Radha Krishna himself, and he's simultaneously showing us how to approach Radha and Krishna and giving us the way, the avenue through which we can approach Radha Krishna, because Radha Krishna means Raganuga Bhakti. It means following in the footsteps of the residents of Vrindavan. Where do we hear that? In the teachings of Rupa Goswami. I'll give you a hint. It starts off by saying what the essence of all advice is.
Tannama rupa charitadi sukirtananu smrityo kramena rasana manasi niyojya Tishtan vrajetadhanuragi jananugami kalam nayeda kilametupadesha saram.
Where in that verse does it say that by treading the path of hearing and chanting, that one then comes to follow in the footsteps of the residents of Vrindavan? And by doing that, one comes to live in Vrindavan. Tanama rupa charitari sikirtananu smrityo kramena rasana manasini yoja tishtan vraje. What does that mean? What's vraje? It's vraje. And if you say vraja, what is that?
Vrindavan.
And what does vraje mean? That form of the word means in Vrindavan. So if you put an E on the end, you say Raja, Raje.
Raje.
Raje means in Vrindavan. So Tishtan Raje means that you're situated in Vrindavan. Tishtan Raje tad anuragi jananugami. What's an anuragi? And jananugami. A jananugami, anugami,
Follower.
you're a follower of anuragis. Those, you're following in the same mood of the residents of Vrindavan. That's how you get to live there. I'm going a little off course from answering your question, but the point is that there's a certain requirement in order to be able to worship Radha and Krishna properly, and that is that you follow in the footsteps of the residents of Vrindavan. And without that, then one cannot attain the proper mood of worshiping in Radha and Krishna. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna and Radharani combined, and he's showing the path through which one can come to this point of actually worshiping Radha and Krishna. Some people worship Radha and Krishna, but they don't know who they are, and they may not worship in the proper way. Or they may worship according to the Vaidhi Bhakti rules, and then you'll hear in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, if one simply knows Vaidhi Bhakti but doesn't know Raganuga Bhakti, then one ultimately doesn't come to the point of living in Vrindavan and worshiping Radha Krishna. You come to the point of worshiping Lakshmi Narayan. Are you guys okay? This is all right? Okay. So that's the answer. What happens to them? Yeah, I hope that sufficed. And the first point, there was another point at the beginning that you gave as a reflection, but then you went right to the question.
It was Srivatsa, he gave two reasons why Mahaprabhu appeared.
Right.
Yeah, first one he said was to distribute Krishna Prema, and second he said to experience what Radharani felt for
Okay,
Krishna.
so these are important points. Thank you, Srivatsa Prabhu. So the first one, he came to distribute Krishna Prema. Now, it's the yuga, it's a changeover of yugas, right? Kali Yuga, it's the very beginning of Yuga. How many years have we put in so far in Kali Yuga? About 5,000? Okay, so we're at the beginning of Kali Yuga, and in each yuga, there's a specific process through which one can be happy, and through which one can have fun. We learned that from Dayananda the other day. Yajna means happiness. It means fun. If you don't perform yajna, you can't have any fun. There's different levels of fun that he describes in his book, but the only real fun is from yajna, worshiping Krishna properly. So in each yuga, there is a specific way in which one can approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead through yajna. And in the Kali Yuga, the method is what? Chanting. Can you prove that from the Shastra?
Hare Rama.
Very good.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Eva Kevalam. Kalau nasti eva, nasti eva, nasti eva, gatiranyata.
What does that verse say?
there is no other way, no other way, no other way than chanting the holy names, chanting the holy names, chanting the holy names.
That's pretty emphatic, 3 times.
It's the funnest.
Your father says, clean your room, clean your room. Of course, he probably never has to say that, but clean your room, clean your room, clean your room. He probably means it. So, yeah.
It's the funnest.
It's the funnest. So this is a verse that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's spiritual master taught him that says Yuga Dharma and Kali Yuga is to chant the holy names. And now, this is an important point, that there's always a Yuga avatar who comes to teach the Yuga Dharma. And Krishna doesn't always come in Kali Yuga as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to teach the Yuga Dharma. Go ahead.
I was going to say he's always manifesting in the Bhagavatam.
Yes, Bhagavatam is there, but this point, that's good, nice. My point is, however, that normally Krishna doesn't come himself in the Kali Yuga to teach the Yuga Dharma. Other empowered representatives come. Sometimes it's a jiva who's empowered to spread the Yuga Dharma and teach everybody to chant Hare Krishna. But Srivatsa said to give Krishna Prema. Yeah. There's a special way that the holy name has an effect on us here. And we hear about this in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, when there's a description of the residents of Nadia coming down to visit Jagannath Puri, and Maharaj Prataparuja is watching them come into town, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is describing who all of them are, and as well as his son-in-law, not son-in-law, but his nephew, brother-in-law, whose name was Gopinath Acharya. He's describing all the residents, and Prataparuja says, I never heard such a kind of chanting before in my life. And the description is, this is called a Prem Nam Sankirtan. So it's infused with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's special mood from Goloka Vrindavan. So this chanting of the holy name is very special when it's delivered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that was an incidental reason, we'll find out, why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. Krishna didn't have to come in the Kali Yuga to spread the Yuga Dharma. Anybody could have, well, not anybody, but an empowered representative could have come. Gaur-Narayan could have come, a jiva could have come and spread the Yuga Dharma. So it's unusual. That doesn't mean anything. It's unusual that he comes. So now, besides I used a handkerchief. So we want to know what the other reasons are, and Srivatsa Prabhu told us one other reason, which was?
I'll read what he said. Krishna also wants to understand why Radharani loves him so much.
Yeah, that was well put, Srivatsa Prabhu. So he's now getting us into the deeper reasons, the internal reasons. Now, we'll find out in just a moment, or even right now, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has internal reasons and external reasons. Don't take this the wrong way. It doesn't mean that the external reasons are material and the internal reasons are spiritual. That's not what it means. What his internal, external reasons are both transcendental, completely spiritual. However, the internal reasons, as will be described in the next verse, verse number 6, have to do with his own personal curiosity and not his spiritual duty of spreading the Yuga Dharma. So this verse says, Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrisho Vanayaiva Swadyo Yena Bhuta Madhurima Kidrisho Madhyaha Saukyam Chasya Mad Anubhavata Kidrisham Veti Lobat Tadbhavadya Samajani Shachigarva Sindau Harindu. And the translation is, Desiring to understand. Now I want you to listen to this carefully and pick out the 3 internal reasons why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. They're a little subtle, so you have to look carefully at the verse. And this verse reveals to the world the 3 internal reasons why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. Desiring to understand the glory of Radharani's love, the wonderful qualities in him that she alone relishes through her love, and the happiness she feels when she realizes the sweetness of his love. The Supreme Lord Hari, richly endowed with her emotions, appeared from the womb of Srimati Shachi Devi as the moon appeared from the ocean. So what did we get out of it? There are 3 reasons, 3 internal reasons. They're nuanced. So there's subtle differences, but let's look at them very carefully. Okay, give me one.
He wants to he's desiring to understand the glory of Radharani's love.
Yes, let's look at the Sanskrit again. There you go. Shri Radhaya of Srimati Radharani. Shri Radhaya. Pranaya Mahima. So what does Mahima mean?
Glory.
It means something really big. So Pranaya means love. And Pranaya Mahima, the greatness of her love. Kidrisha, you'll find throughout this verse, Kidrisha, Kidrisha, Kidrisha means a certain kind. Yeah, of what kind? So, and then Va Anaya means by this one, Radharani, speaking about Radha. So Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrisho Va Vayanya. So what he wants to know, what is the greatness of her love, right? So what's the second one? Go back down to the translation again, please.
The wonderful qualities in him that she alone relishes through her love.
Yeah, this is interesting. So go back up to the Sanskrit again. So there's qualities in Krishna that she relishes. Now, Krishna has a hard time relishing his own qualities because he's Krishna. And every once in a while, he notices it. So, for instance, in Dwarka, he looked at himself in the polished marble of a pillar, and he saw his beautiful form, and he said, "Oh my God, who is that?" I mean, Krishna's so attractive, he attracts everybody, including himself, and he thinks, who is that? But he's the one looking at the reflection, so it's very hard for him to enter into that and actually enjoy. He wants to know what it is. Just like a man, like he's asking, how deep is that river? And then he gets a big stick. He goes over and he starts putting the stick further and further and going down and down. He keeps reaching out of the boat, goes farther, and it keeps going down, so he slips off the boat and he just goes into the water because it's unlimitedly deep. So Krishna is looking how deep is this love that Srimati Radharani has, and he's testing more and more, and then he just falls in. So here it is. He wants to know the qualities of Krishna, the qualities of that Srimati Radharani is relishing in him. And this is later on explained in a very interesting way, because Krishna is what? The Supreme Personality of Godhead. And one of the reasons he's described as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, according to Rupa Goswami in the Nectar of Devotion, is what? Please explain. What were you saying?
He's full of 6 qualities, 100% full.
Yeah, that's a definition of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But according to the different manifestations, like there's Narayan, and there's others that are also, they have these opulences, the 6 opulences. But what's special about Krishna?
Maharaj, I think he write that what Akhil Rasa Amrit Murti, he's the source of all the rasas, he's all the transcend. Akhil Rasa Amrit Murti.
Yeah, how many qualities are mentioned there in the Nectar of Devotion
60.
Krishna has? How many does Narayan have, and how many does Krishna have?
So Krishna has got few qualities that are not found even in Narayana. Four qualities.
That
One
Narayan
is that
yes.
Krishna plays pastimes with his devotees.
Okay.
He plays flute.
Yeah.
And he has a beauty that is unrivaled in any part of the creation.
Yes.
What's the last one?
Give us the fourth one.
Venu Madhuri's his flutes.
Yes, we got that one.
Form. Yes, devotees around him, loving devotees.
Loving devotees, imbued with a very special kind of love for God. And four? Engage in wonderful childhood pastimes, and his Leela is super excellent. So these four qualities, therefore, in this way also, Rupa Goswami describes why Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has more qualities than Lord Narayan, but who has more qualities, according to Krishna, than Krishna does? Radharani has more qualities than Krishna has. And the reason he feels this is because I'm the source of all qualities, but why am I attracted to Srimati Radharani? Because she has more qualities than I do. So now the question comes, why is Srimati Radharani attracted to me? If she has more qualities, why is she attracted to me? So here we find that Kaviraj Goswami is saying, what kind of qualities is it? He wants to know, to explore this more deeply, to find out, why is she attracted to my qualities? How is it that she's attracted? Okay, go back up to the translation, or down. Third one. Third internal reason. Why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu?
He desires to understand the happiness Radharani feels when she realizes the sweetness of his love.
Yes, now go back to the word for word, and we'll look at it. So we find here that Sri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima, that's the greatness of his love, of her love. And then Sri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrishova Vanayaiva Swadyo, the taste, to be relished. Swadyo Yena Adbhuta Madharima, the wonderful sweetness, Kidrisho Va Madhyaha. And then Saukyam, the happiness, Chasya Mad Anubhavita. Anubhavita means realizing his sweetness, how happy she feels. He wants to see the happiness, experience the happiness, the Saukyam that she has when she realizes his sweetness. So Krishna is sweet, sweet, sweet. Madhuram, Madhuram, Vaparasa Vibhur. So the Lord is unlimitedly sweet, and Radharani is the one who's tasting that sweetness more than anybody, because she has that unusual love for Krishna. So he's able to taste it. But can Krishna taste his own sweetness? That doesn't seem fair. But when he comes as a combination of Radha and Krishna, then he can taste that same sweetness. So now we know the external reasons why Krishna came. One of them is to give mercy to everybody, to spread the Yuga Dharma. And there's another reason he came, is because of the call of Advaita Acharya. And when the devotees call him with such love, like Advaita Acharya did, then he feels compelled to come. So to answer his devotees' call, he comes. To spread the Yuga Dharma, he comes. And now we have the internal reasons, and that is, it has to do with knowing the greatness of Srimati Radharani's love, the qualities in him that she alone relishes through her love, and the third is the happiness she feels when she sees the sweetness of Krishna. Those three things, he wants to taste that. And how, according to this verse, and I want you to show me the word, how badly does he want it? Is it just he's curious? Or is there some other word there that reveals the level of intensity by which he wants to know about these internal dealings with Radharani and himself in the form of Radha and Krishna?
Aswadhya, he wants to relish he wants to relish.
Let's look at the word. Okay. What word in there do you see that's Lobha? Where else do you hear that word? Yeah, there's another verse by Rupa Goswami that describes, Hare Krishna, how it is that the devotee can come to know Krishna. He says, how does that? Krishna bhakti ras bhavitomati kriyatam yadi kritopi labdite tatalalyam api mulyam ekalam janmakoti sukritirna labdite. And he describes in this verse that for a devotee to be able to attain bhakti, one must have what's called lalyam, intense greed. And lobat means the same thing. It means that lobha means intense desire. So Krishna had this intense desire to be able to experience these three tastes that Radharani has in her relationship with him. So now we know the secrets of why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, right? Yes. Right. So then the verses start to go into the descriptions of his manifestations as Lord Nityananda. So you'll see the next verse, which is describing how, look at the translation. May Sri Nityananda Ram be the object of my constant remembrance. Sankarsana, Sheshanaga, and the Vishnus who lie on the Karna ocean, Garbha ocean, and ocean of milk are his plenary portions and the portions of his plenary portions. Next. I surrender unto the lotus feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, who is known as Sankarsana in the midst of the Chaturvyuha, consisting of Vasudev, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. He possesses full opulences and resides in Vaikuntha-loka, far beyond the material creation. I offer my full obeisances unto the feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, whose partial representation, called Karnadakshayi Vishnu, lying on the Karna ocean, is the original Purusha, the master of the illusory energy, and the shelter of all the universes. It goes on to describe another feature of Balaram, Sankarshan, who's Lord Nityananda, and then Advaita Acharya. And then we hear about the three deities of Vrindavan, who are the teen Thakurs? Madan Mohan, Govinda ji, and Gopinath ji. So what are the significance of these three deities for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas? Give us a verse that tells us about the fascination that the Gaudiya Vaishnavas have with these three deities.
Etina Thakur Gaudiya ke Kariya Chena Atmasat. Correct,
that is the right verse. This verse tells about how the devotees, the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, are absorbed in their worship of these three deities. So Madan Mohan, why do they worship Radha Madan Mohan? What is their... Okay, you said Sambandha. Tell us more about that.
I just know that he, like if you worship him, he gives Sambandha Gyan.
Okay, so let's think about it for a minute. Is it easy to get out of the material world, in your opinion? No. You don't think so? No. Why? What's so hard about getting out of the material world? Maya, and how does Maya manifest? She's eager to tell us.
It just finds a way in, even though if you think you're on top of it.
Yeah, what's the epitome of Maya in the material world? Let's get a little more concrete here.
It's like a jackal, It gives you a little sweetness.
What
and kicks
is the
you.
main attractive force in the material world? Yeah. Okay, give us some pramanam. I can think of 2 verses right off the top of my head from Bhagavatam. Pumsastriya maitini bhavametam tayomrito hridaya grantamahu atogri akshetra shatapta viter janasya moho yamaha mameti. This is from 5th canto, 5th chapter. Which verse? Go to 5.5, try 5.5.4. And if that's right, I win something. I didn't win. Okay. Try 8. Pumsa striya. What is pumsa and striya? There you go. There you have it. That's the main attractive force in the material world. Maituni bhavam. And when male and female forms. Now, what are male and female forms in the material world? I mean, if we talk about it from a higher up position, where we're looking at things very objectively, what are the male and female forms? Let me tell you what I'm talking about. Are we male or female materially speaking?
No.
Well, defend your position.
Because we are all spiritual energy of Krishna, and it just manifested in different forms of male and female.
Say more about it, why you said no, because that could be confusing to somebody who just walked in and said, what are you talking about? You're not a man or a woman? Look like a man to me.
Well, Krishna says that how in the 7th chapter when he starts describing that Bhumi Rapo Nalo Vayu
Yes.
Kham Mano Buddhir Eva Cha Ahankara Ityam Me Bhinna Prakriti Rashtada. And then he says the next verse, Apareyam itastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhuta mahabaho yayedam dharyati jagat.
Means?
So he doesn't say that there's a male and female. He says that there's a jiva, and he generally describes the jiva who is apart from these 8 material energies.
Okay, so, it's like the bodies that we have right now, they're described as yantra. What does that mean? Machine. Where else do you see machines around the neighborhood? Everywhere, like in building? What about, what are they called when they have those, they're doing, road work and they're tearing little bobcat. What do they call those things? Bulldozers, and they have the long arms that go out and pull stuff up? Huh? Cranes? Okay, so they're machines too, right? What if you saw two cranes like that in love? And they're like, and they're like, trying to nestle up next to each other. And they go like, oh, I love you too. And the cranes are crossing over each other and saying, like, oh, you're my only in this world. Do you think that would be weird? Is it weird? Say yes. Yeah, it is weird. So in the same way, the idea of love in the material world between so-called pumsa and so-called striya means that there's this idea, I'm man, I'm woman, but it's an external feature. So then, when the man and woman come together and they say, I love you, lovey-dovey, then this is a mistaken idea, actually, because we're actually not these bodies. So this is pointed out very directly throughout the Srimad Bhagavatam. What's another verse that describes how this relationship between man and woman in the material world becomes entangling and troublesome? Sorry to go down this road, but I'm coming to a point. Think Prahlad Maharaj. Yanmaitu nadi griyamedi sukham hi tucham kanduyanena karayori vaduka dukam tripyanti neha kripana bahuduka bhaja. So he talks about here the same thing, same type of topic, that the attraction between male and female becomes very troublesome. Because of that attraction, which seems to be the right thing to do, because it's just like a natural thing. If a man sees a woman, woman sees a man, they become attracted. So then he says, through that connection, then there's a lot of misery that comes out of it. Anyone? This reminds me of the old ISV, back when we were on Union Avenue. We just had about this many devotees. So everyone stayed home because of the coronavirus, by the way. What point am I coming to here? Madan Mohan. So what is the main attraction now in the material world? Say it.
Attraction between male and female.
So that's why everyone wants to stay in the material world and work really hard, because of the attraction between male and female. So the point is that Madan Mohan means when you become attracted to Madan Mohan, then you can actually give up the attraction to the material world, not otherwise. It's very difficult to give up the attraction in the material world because it's so strong. What's a verse in the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says that Maya is so strong that it's impossible to get out unless you surrender unto me?
Daivi esha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya ma me vaye prapadyante maya
Etam tarantite. Yeah, that's the verse, 7:14, and it says, Krishna says, Maya is duratyaya. It's difficult to get free from Maya. But if you surrender unto me, you can cross beyond it. So how to surrender to Krishna? You worship Madan Mohan. So this starts one's path in getting out of the material world and into the spiritual world by worshiping Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan, because if you become attracted to worshiping Radha Madan Mohan, then you lose your interest in the material world. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that's the only way to give up sense gratification. Where does he say that? 259. Who knows the verse? Besides Mukharavinda. Vishaya vinivartante nirahara siddhina. So you knew it. Rasavarjam rasopyasyat param drishvan nivartate. Yet think of the meaning of it. What is the meaning of the word? Vishaya vinivartante. You know the Sanskrit words, but now let's connect the meaning. This is a very powerful, important verse, and it relates to Madan Mohan in our discussion. Look at the translation. Though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense object remains. But ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. So go up to the word for word. So now we see Vishaya means what? Objects of sense gratification, enjoyment. Vinivartante are practiced to be refrained from. Niraharasya. Yeah, so the first line says, if you're trying to stay away from sense enjoyment just by restricting yourself negatively, what's an example of that? Let's just say food. Anybody here like food? Yes. Okay, so what if you say, I'm not going to eat? Why would you say that? Why would somebody say that? I'm not going to eat. Huh? I'm overweight, so now I decide I'm not going to eat. So is it easy? No. Why? Because, and it's mentioned here, it says rasa varjam, giving up the taste, rasa, sense enjoyment, api means although. Although you're restricting yourself, you still have a taste for it. There's still a rasa for it. In other words, I may say I'm not going to eat I'm going to try this intermittent fasting thing, right? So that means tomorrow you have an opportunity. It's Ekadashi. So just say, I'm not going to eat tomorrow. Will your senses agree with you? What are they going to say? They're going to say, come on. This is crazy. Because they have a taste for it. And say you're going to fast anyway, but let's say, lunchtime comes around and what goes through your head, maybe? Dosa. The taste for dosa is still there, but you're going, I'm not going to eat dosa, right? So the point is that Krishna is making here that you may, by negative process of saying, I'm giving it up. There it means niraharasya. I'm restricting myself negatively. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. The taste is still there, but when does the taste go away? When you get a higher taste. See, this is, this is a law. And so there's a way in which if you get param drishtva nirvartate, the nirvartate there, you stop doing it because you found something better. And that's Madan Mohan. Madan Mohan's the entryway into the spiritual world, because unless we're able to get the taste of serving Madan Mohan, there's a sweetness there that's incomparable. It's way, way beyond anything you can get in the material world. And so when we worship Sri Sri Radha and Madan Mohan, then we're able to look at the material world and say, like, oh, no, thank you. I'm not interested. Meh. Done that, been there, not interested anymore. I have something superior. And it's real. It's not a matter of restraint where later on it's like, hey, what happened to your vow? You gave it up, right? I see you've given it up. It's like, I couldn't hold on because you didn't have a higher taste. So you have to get a taste from worshiping Sri Sri Radha and Madan Mohan. And then Govinda. What about Govinda?
Engaging in this process. So when we engage in that, so they are abhideh is called in Sanskrit. Abhideh.
Yeah. Abhideha means then you have a process through which you're actually engaging practically in the devotional service. And then the third deity in the Trinity?
Prayoj.
Gopinath means?
Prayoj.
Prayojana means?
Is the final goal.
Yeah, the final goal. So there's a progression through these three deities that the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, those who are followers of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they worship these three deities. And to do so, they follow the method of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who showed the process, not only showed it, but he also taught it extensively to his disciples, how to follow the process of devotional service. And if one follows Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's process as it's taught by the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, and worships Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then you can easily enter into the realm of Vrindavan and worshipping Radha and Krishna. And now we'll see if you have any questions, just see if you have any questions, because we just have about 12 minutes left. Yes?
There is one question on Find the Spark from Kirtida Sundari Dasi. And the question is there any reference where it says that Krishna comes as Gauranarayana in other Kali Yugas?
Yes. That means it's not Krishna. It means it's another manifestation who comes to spread the Yuga Dharma. And sometimes it's a Vishnu Tattva, and sometimes it's a Jiva Tattva who becomes a Shaktivesh, or empowered, a Jiva empowered by the Lord to do something very wonderful that only God could do. But sometimes he invests that power in a Jiva that's not Vishnu Tattva. So yes. Other questions?
This is also on WhatsApp. This is from Mayank Prabhu. He asks, in other universes, when Lord Krishna incarnates as a part of his eternal Leela, will Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always incarnate after Krishna?
No. That was just the point.
Yeah.
Not always. This was a perfect storm, spiritual storm. And there's a way in which there was this opportunity that he had, did Krishna, to fulfill his own desires, to come to, as we already discussed, to understand Radharani's love for him. And those are the internal reasons. And then, of course, the external reasons of spreading the Yuga Dharma, that's always there, because he comes in a scheduled fashion to spread the Yuga Dharma. And so it's not always that Lord Chaitanya comes after Lord Krishna. Sometimes it's another manifestation. Yes. Prabhu. He didn't get a seat. He came in late. You can move up here Oh, you got a seat. Okay, sorry. I couldn't see it.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I was listening your class online. It was
Thank you.
really enchanting and full of so much theory. Anyways, so my question is, Maharaj, you were telling like if like in some of the Kali Yugas, Lord Chaitanya doesn't appear, even if Krishna appears in the predecessing Dapar Yuga. So in that Kali Yugas, what can be the Yuga dharmas? Because we know that Krishna Prem only can be given by Lord Chaitanya. It cannot be given by anyone else other than Krishna. So how we can understand?
Krishna Prema. Right.
Yes. Exactly.
That's why this is Unato Jwala Rasam Swabhakti Shriyam. He comes to give a special gift. So this is like, when there's a special sale, Macy's always has good stuff, I think, still. And but then they say, 95% off, but it's only for this day. So this is a special Kali Yuga because Krishna is coming himself. And he's distributing a special gift that's never been given before and usually isn't given. But the point here, Kaviraj Goswami makes, is that only Krishna can distribute that, Krishna Prema, in that way. And how does he distribute it? He distributes it as his own devotee, because actually it's the devotees who distribute Krishna Prema. But here we have Krishna, but he's coming as his own devotee and distributing himself. It's an unusual situation. So one may get liberation or so many things, but this special connection with Goloka Vrindavan and the relationships that, as you'll see, Kaviraj Goswami is also revealing the mindset of Lord Chaitanya. We find in the third and fourth chapters when he says that I'm not really attracted by devotional service that is encumbered by Vaidhi, by rules and regulations. There's a way in which he says then that when one of my consorts approaches me in a sulky mood or insults me, like sometimes when his consorts in the spiritual world in Goloka Vrindavan become angry with him, and Radharani goes into a sulking mood, man. Then, Krishna will approach and her Sakis will say, she doesn't want to see you right now. Better not come in. I mean, this is very esoteric, but this is how the Chaitanya Charitamrita opens. We have to, discuss what's in there. But this kind of mood is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is describing. He came to give. That there's a spontaneous love, ragatmika bhakti, that's only there in Goloka Vrindavan. It's only available when one follows in the footsteps, raganuga, of some resident in Vrindavan. Now, of course, this isn't to be taken cheaply, obviously, and that's why one learns the process of spiritual life from the beginning with Sri Ishopanishad, Bhagavad Gita, understands the process of surrender and so forth. And then gradually through the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, up to 10 cantos, and then 11th and 12th, Chaitanya Charitamrita, one begins to understand the spiritual science. And by hearing, one becomes purified in heart and becomes more and more qualified and eligible to understand the intricacies of the spiritual world. And when one develops a natural attraction for hearing about a particular devotee in the spiritual world, this is the beginning stages of the actual Raganuga Bhakti. Although in the beginning we're practicing what we call Ajata Ruchi, Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti. There's a way in which even before we have that taste, we're still following in the footsteps of Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, who are residents of the spiritual world. And even as it mentioned by Kaviraj Goswami, someone who's on that path externally follows all the rules and regulations, but internally cultivates that attraction and the following of the particular resonance. And the reason I mention this is because these are what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to teach. He came to teach Ragatmika Bhakti, the spontaneous kind of bhakti that the devotees in Goloka Vrindavan have. Not the type that's there in Vaikuntha through Vaidhi. But we're following that by following the footsteps of the Goswamis of Vrindavan. And as I've mentioned in other classes, by dedicating oneself to the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Dasiras, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions in his Navadeep Dham Mahatmya, then one gradually begins to develop that qualification for entering into the into worship of Radha and Krishna. Or Narottam Das Thakur also mentions, what's the song? A lot of suggestions, but it's a song we sing a lot. It's too tall.
Gaurangero Duti Pada.
In that song, Gauranga Duti Pada, Narottam Das Thakur is saying, if you dive into the ocean of Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement, you come out on the shore of the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So, point made, when I forget what the question was. Was there a question? It was your question.
Question was like, when Lord Chaitanya doesn't appear in other Kali Yugas, what is the Yuga Dharma of those Kali Yugas? Like how actually those Kali Yuga people get
Yuga Dharma is the same. It's the chanting of the holy names. But when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu distributes it, it has a special quality, and it's also that he gives the process through which one can come to Goloka Vrindavan and understand these intimate rasas in the spiritual world. Any last question? Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you, Maharaj. The question is that, like, as you say, like in the Vaikuntha, we see like Sahasranam, Vishnu Sahasranam, they sing, and also when we greet the deity, we also sing this Brahma Samhita prayer. So, what is the difference between our mood and their mood? And or maybe the question is, what mood we should chant these prayers so that it doesn't
chant which prayers?
Like Govindam, Adipurusham, or like when we chant the Brahma Samhita verses for deities, or like Bhagavad Gita verses for.
Well, it's as it's mentioned in the Chaitanya Bhagavat. Vrindavan Das Thakur says the devotees of Lord Chaitanya know all these verses. And we know this, it comes in the section when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did his Mahaprakash. He sat down on the altar and revealed to his most intimate devotees that he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then he said to Srivas Pandit, he said, sing that bathing song. And then he began to sing the Purushukta. And then Vrindavan Das Thakur says, the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they know all these things. It's not that they don't know them, they do, but you'll notice the context of everything. Just like we were talking about Nrsingadev. Some people say, you worship Nrsingadev, you'll scare away the mood of worshiping Radha Krishna. But we've been singing a song over and over again here by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, where he's praying to Lord Nrsingadev, please remove all the obstacles so that I can worship Radha Krishna here in Navadvip. So it's a matter of context. We don't shun anything. It's not that, someone says, okay, I'll offer obeisances to the altar of Gaurnitai, then Radha Krishna, but if Sita, Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman are there, I'm not going there because maybe I'll end up in Vaikuntha. That wasn't the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta or Srila Prabhupada. It's that we see everything in the same context. All the incarnations are there within the body of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and those that had some difference in taste for worshiping Krishna, they also got it from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So there's no harm either way. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us here in the live studio audiences of ISKCON of Silicon Valley. And thanks for so many of you for joining us online today. And we are going to be over the next weeks, especially for festivals, we'll have special precautions here because as many corporations here in the Valley are being very careful about everyone coming together in one place because of the obvious epidemic that's going on now, perhaps on the cusp of being a pandemic, except for Antarctica. We have to take great precautions. So we ask anyone who's ill to not come in. We ask anyone who is worried about it, don't come in. We also ask everyone to be very, very careful about washing their hands and not touching their faces. If you've been around somebody that's sick, don't come in. Be very selective. You can watch from home and for right now, take a little break from being in here. So we'll be posting on the website and sending out to everybody all the various precautions that we're asking everyone to take. We've installed all over the temple or in several places hand sanitizer. Please use it regularly. It's no joke, and we don't want to have this be an incubation place. And tonight you'll notice that we have a much scaled down audience, and that's because the devotees were very dutiful and watched online, except for we asked some devotees to come in tonight. And of course, everyone's always welcome here. But we're just trying to do due diligence so we don't have everyone crammed in every single night. We want to watch what the Centers for Disease Control are doing and others to lower the possibility of any kind of infection from the devotees. Any questions about that? Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming in. And now we're going to have an artik ceremony. So we're going to put the asans back over, and we're going to worship Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu now that we've heard a little bit about him. Gaur Premanande Haribo Vancha Kalpadurvishcha Kripasinabhe Vacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nanta Kodi Vaishnaviniki.